You're listening to the Midlife Plot Twist podcast, and this is episode 5. Welcome to episode 5. How are you doing today? My name is Jennifer, and it's another week, another episode, and today I'm going to talk about life's plot twists and how I'm empowering myself to move through this stage of growth in my life in times where or when the fear is substantial and I'm feeling trapped by it, which is often. When I think about midlife plot twists, the first thing that comes to mind is a belief that I hold. I believe each of us lives through a story of some kind or another, and that we are the ultimate narrators of our lives. Actually, we're the ultimate writers and narrators of our lives. Sometimes, like for me right now, the story that you've been living through takes a sudden turn. In my case, the sudden turn I've taken has been the realization that I no longer want to be in my career, which I worked so hard to achieve. When the plot twist appears, we have a choice. Do we insist on maintaining the narrative we've been living within, or do we begin to open up and start creating a possible new story for ourselves and our lives? So far, I've chosen the latter. Becoming the active author of my current plot twist, as opposed to being passive and avoidant about it, has meant that I've been living with a lot of fear. I feel that fear most intensely in the evenings when everything starts to slow down. Traffic slows, outside noise gets quieter, and my mind starts to pick up pace. I think of all the what ifs and can start to catastrophize. I realized this morning that I'm catastrophizing because some part of me believes that there is an ultimate right way to handle this situation and a right choice to make. The fear warns me that it's up to me to decipher what that one ultimate choice is, and that I'd better not make the wrong choice or I will die. The truth is, there is no one ultimate choice, and any choice I make is the right one at the time because I made it. Whether I chicken out and try to tough it out in my current position, or I leave it and I start over, or I venture out on my own, or I try to get a 9-to-5 kind of career in some organization, this isn't about making a right or wrong move. When I start catastrophizing, let me tell you what that looks like for me. So I said before, it looks like I'm going to die. When I catastrophize, I'm fearing that I'll have no money and I'll end up homeless. I fear that I will fall back into old negative ways of being that I've worked hard to grow and heal from. I fear that I'll lose my partner in the process. I fear that everyone in my life will quietly or openly judge me negatively and stop talking to me. Maybe some part of me even thinks or worries about being ridiculed. There's also a lot of weight placed on making the right decision in the right amount of time for the right reasons. There's just a lot of pressure when I begin to catastrophize. And the truth is, this is not about right or wrong. Instead, I'm trying to focus on the fact that I just realized I'm just talking about fear. You probably can hear I keep taking all these breaths. I'm like short of breath. Anxiety. Anyway, I'm trying to focus on the fact that I have choices, big and small, that I can make, and ultimately which one of those choices or what set of choices would be the most beneficial and supportive of my health and well-being at this time. This shift away from black and white thinking helps me a lot. It gets me into the realm of choice where I am focusing on something that I value as a guidepost, and that is my health and well-being. It's incredibly freeing to realize also that I've survived all my worst case scenarios so far. Midlife is bringing me the ability to trust myself because of the wisdom I develop by looking back and learning from life's lessons. I'm a big advocate for journaling, doing anything we can to sort of look back over our lives or my life and evaluate, what kind of lessons have I learned from the experiences that I've had and so forth. Another thing that really helps me is remembering and really remembering that every major change in my life started with fear. And again, I've survived and even thrived sometimes through them all. I think sometimes there's a tendency to think that if we feel fear, it means it's wrong and it should be avoided. And that makes perfect sense. But fear, that intense chest gripping, breath shallowing kind of fear, it's never meant that I was on the wrong path. It just meant that I was in the process of growing. Having gone through, and probably also that I've got choices to make, right? So having gone through many major changes in my life, I've learned to trust that the voice in me that's the loudest, the most fearful and danger warning voice is not the voice of my truth. That is a part that is trying to protect me. Thank you, part. And instead, the voice in me that feels comparatively neutral, it pops up with just a singular, simple idea and leaves. The one that doesn't bug me or haunt me or yell at me or make me feel terrified. That one, that is the voice of my intuition and the one to get really curious about and listen to. I've also learned that I used to think courage, which I think we need a lot of in these times of plot twist, or midlife in general, looked bold and was loud. But now I know it often looks just like persistence and gathers no attention. The persistence to get up each day and take one small, uncertain step forward. I think that's what day-to-day courage looks like in any given situation. So I'm learning that I don't need every answer before I take the next step towards whatever is next. Maybe the step will be smaller, but I can still take a step. As a matter of fact, that's how this podcast was born. Was born. I felt trapped, unable to move forward in my decisions to leave my career and unable to stay. So I took the step to create this podcast so that I could actively have something to do in which I could process this midlife plot twist and feel like I was moving forward. And guess what? It's working. I feel less scared, more confident in my ability to choose and choose well for myself and trust that I will do well no matter what unfolds. I used to dread these major life changes, the fear of becoming a parent, the fear of losing my parents, of starting over, of a relationship ending, and so on. Now I see that all of those changes I feared nudged me closer to who I am and who I'm meant to be. I am the type of person that feels I have a purpose in life. It's not grandiose or anything, but a purpose nevertheless. And every plot twist so far has brought me closer to that purpose and has carried me home to a deeper relationship with myself and my story. So that's it for episode 5. Please like and follow or give me 5 stars or whatever actions people do with podcasts so that they gain traction. There are also a few ways to get in touch with me. I have an Instagram account under Midlife Plot Twist Podcast, so you can get a hold of me there or by email at midlifeplotTwistpodcast@gmail.com. I've also started a Substack for those of you who enjoy reading. Please subscribe over there under the same account name. Again, my name is Jennifer, and it's an honor to share this journey with you. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride with me. And stay tuned for next Monday's episode. Thanks for listening. And until next time, be well.